Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
It seems that Bill Maher's full-time role is to break down woke arguments, and his latest target is none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Let's be honest, her growing collection of cringe-worthy statements since 2022 has given Maher some material to work with. But instead of just criticizing her, Maher completely tore her apart, leaving Goldberg dodging attacks like a cartoon character trying to avoid falling anvils. So what exactly did Goldberg say to set off Maher's fiery response? Why was the woke crowd so taken aback by his sharp comeback? Don't worry, we've covered every juicy detail in this article. Grab a seat, folks. It's more like a roller coaster ride with no seatbelts.
Got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speed.
Whoopi Goldberg has poked the bear, and now she's facing the consequences of harsh, undeniable truths, and it's not looking good. Remember our previous video where Bill Maher called out Sunny Hostin for trying to twist his words? Well, it seems the staff at The View isn't quietly accepting defeat this time. Now it's Whoopi Goldberg stepping up, seemingly on a mission for revenge, eager to get her pound of flesh. It seems Sunny couldn't handle the heat from Maher's critique, so she called in the big guns, Whoopi herself. And let's just say, Whoopi came in fierce, ready to throw down like a contestant in a reality show nobody asked for.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Whoopi Goldberg, as if following a set script, flips through the woke playbook, creating a straw man argument and launching an offensive when her position is quickly falling apart. Black Americans desire better job opportunities, a stronger economy, and fairer policing, and Bill Maher made that point crystal clear. Simple enough, right? But then, Whoopi starts talking about electing a former prosecutor with working-class aspirations, completely unrelated. Why? Well, there's no logical connection because there isn't one. It's as if she's throwing darts blindfolded, hoping something will hit. Spoiler alert, Bill Maher wasn't having any of it.
Down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Let's be honest, this is pretty typical for The View. Bill Maher didn't hold back when he called out Whoopi's thoughts as downright ridiculous. The show has essentially become the political talk show equivalent of a car wreck, uncomfortable to watch, yet impossible to look away from. It's long been known for its controversial and, let's face it, questionable takes on just about everything. But with their completely absurd remarks, Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg have managed to take the chaos to a whole new level. Remember, the time when Charlemagne the God visited the set? You could almost see him wondering if he had accidentally stepped into a different reality.
Criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
Here's the backstory. President Joe Biden, who has consistently stated that no one is above the law, recently pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, after he was convicted of corruption and related crimes. Now, if we're talking about family values, this decision has understandably sparked a lot of criticism. After all, how can you maintain the stance that no one is above the law when your own son is exempt from it? Unless, of course, you're a Biden supporter. It's like claiming justice is blind. even though Hunter's lack of remorse was as obvious as a child with cookie crumbs on his face. Somehow accountability got left off the family agenda. That's exactly the point Charlemagne made. If the woke crowd believes in equality under the law, they should live by those standards too. Simple, right? But Whoopi had a different perspective.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You
his
really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all
No,
of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over
And
it.
there it is. Another classic moment from Whoopi Goldberg, the Queen of Cringe. This time, Whoopi claimed that President Biden's statement about no one being above the law was accurate. Really, Whoopi? Because there's plenty of evidence supporting that he said exactly that, whether in audio, video, and probably even some ancient cave drawings.
It's founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one.
It's like watching someone confidently claim that the sky isn't blue while standing under a clear, cloudless sky. When Whoopi tells an obvious falsehood, her mental gymnastics are impressive enough to win an Olympic medal, though she'd probably trip over her own logic. Charlemagne's face clearly showed his disbelief at what she was saying, but she didn't stop there. In fact, she went on to suggest that Biden might have changed his stance because he was tired of watching people escape punishment. Charlemagne was left speechless in shock.
So I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
You're
go out.
mis- don't-
They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have.
The problem with the woke crowd is that they only criticize crime when the offender isn't part of their little exclusive circle. But once the wrongdoer is one of their own, their outrage quickly turns into either a quiet defense or a convenient case of selective amnesia. Naturally, since Charlemagne was on the show, Whoopi and her group got away with their antics. But after hearing about their behavior, Bill Maher basically said, "Hold my beer," and delivered one of the most memorable verbal scoldings we've heard in a long time.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
Maher hit the nail on the head when he pointed out that the woke crowd likes to portray themselves as the ultimate moral authorities and truth tellers. But their hypocrisy is clear for everyone to see. Hunter Biden's guilt is undeniable, yet this time he walks away without so much as a minor consequence, simply because his father happens to occupy the Oval Office. If this were anyone else, the crowd would be demanding accountability, but when it's one of their own, favoritism quickly takes precedence over justice. It's the height of hypocrisy, and Maher was right to call it out as a complete farce. The real question is how much longer Americans will put up with this kind of behavior. It's a system that bends over backward for the powerful while leaving everyone else behind. This issue goes beyond just Hunter. Maher's takedown, both timely and sharp, served as a warning to those still clinging to the idea of justice. What's even more interesting is Maher's observation that the mainstream media often plays a significant role in supporting the woke movement.
Is it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's
In an attempt to defend President Biden and block Trump's re-election bid, the media went to great lengths to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, despite mounting evidence. Major outlets silenced opposing voices and dismissed the narrative as Russian disinformation. On The View, Whoopi Goldberg eagerly joined the chorus, mocking the credibility of the accusations. However, Maher wasn't having any of it. He pointed out the glaring contradictions for all to see, dismantling her justifications and calling her out for defending the situation rather than seeking the truth.
Any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be
The women of The View, especially Whoopi Goldberg, aren't just woke, as Maher pointed out. They're more like a pack of sharks, ready to attack anyone who doesn't share their views. Their approach to debate isn't about engaging in conversation or presenting facts. It's about sneering, trapping, and silencing opposition to impose their vision. Whoopi, in particular, has perfected the art of dismissing opposing viewpoints as if they're beneath her. However, Maher doesn't shy away from confronting them, exposing their tactics for what they really are: bullying disguised as advocacy. He consistently calls out their hypocrisy, which is why he's become a thorn in their side. Maher's takedowns offer a refreshing change from the stale, one-sided debates, providing a break for viewers tired of hearing only one side of the story.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Instead of blaming Russia, racism, or whatever else happens to be the trending scapegoat on Twitter that week, Maher argues that the woke mob needs to accept that democracy means sometimes the other side wins. It's not a glitch. It's the system functioning as it was designed. The sooner they stop playing the victim and start thinking strategically, the better their chances will be in 2028 or even 2032. Maher points out that the woke crowd needs to stop clutching their pearls over Trump's victory and start facing reality. He didn't steal, cheat, or magically manufacture it out of thin air.
There's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common.
Bill Maher is right once again. Not all Trump supporters are worshiping golden statues or hosting MAGA rallies in their backyards. Many of them were simply fed up with the sanctimonious lectures from Democrats and the woke mob's increasingly anti-common sense agenda. Some of them held their noses and cast their votes. Let's be honest. Supporting things like biological men, dominating women's sports, or holding rallies that seem to sympathize with extremist groups is bound to alienate voters. People voted for Trump because it felt like they were listening to a self-righteous vegan lecture at a barbecue, not because they liked his tweets or his artificial tan. Maybe it's time for the left to stop embracing every radical idea in the activist playbook and start focusing on issues that the average American can actually relate to if they want to win. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more hard-hitting videos.